Hi, friends. I'm coming to you all comfy, cozy in my pajamas with my coffee and my little stuffy. How are you doing on this beautiful pajama day? I hope you're well. I hope you're comfortable. I hope you're in your pajamas. It's Spirit Week, friends, and today is pajama day. A little bit later I'll change, but right now for Bible, I figured since it's pajama day, how lucky am I that I get to stay in my pajamas? I came all the way to school in my pajamas. Could you imagine how silly that was seeing me drive all the way here? But I'm comfy, cozy. I'm on our beanbag from the classroom, and I got my blankie and my little stuffy and my coffee. But I wanted to talk to you guys about what are we talking about this week in Bible? We're talking about being a leader, right? Specifically, the person we're talking about is Stephen, and we find his story in the book of Acts. Wow, friends, we learned a lot about what he went through. He was one of the elders or the deacons that was chosen, one of the first 7 people that was chosen in the early church to oversee the church and to help kind of run the church because the disciples couldn't do everything, right? Jesus was gone at this time and he left a mission for these disciples to carry out, and they did a really good job of doing that. They were bold in their faith and they shared their faith and they helped people and they were loving and serving all over. Today we're going to talk about the word sacrifice. Do you guys remember what that word means? To sacrifice? I know we've talked about it in class. We've talked about how going to a private school is a big sacrifice. We've talked about when somebody does something for somebody else, it's a sacrifice, right? Just like Jesus died on the cross. We just celebrated that the other day. And that was a huge sacrifice. He didn't have to, but it's when somebody does something or giving up something of great value. Okay. So when you give up something of great value, if you give someone something that you love, your favorite stuffed animal, that's a sacrifice. When you do something with your time, your talent, your ability, and you give it away, that's a sacrifice, right? Donating time to charity, to help people in need, that is sacrifice. Those are all really good ways to show sacrifice. But so this guy, Stephen, he sacrificed his life because in the end of all this, he died. Remember, they stoned him to death for sharing the truth about Jesus and for loving on people, and they killed him. So even though God doesn't call many Christians to make really big sacrifices, all service and all work that people do in the church is a sacrifice. People give their talents, they give money to the church, they give their abilities, they sacrifice their time to serve in the church or to serve in the community that the church is in. Those are all ways that we sacrifice. Now, when people do acts of service or they sacrifice time or their abilities, the Bible talks about how they don't want the Bible, God, not they, God. God doesn't want us to do things just so other people can look at us and say, wow, what a great person. Look what they're doing. That shouldn't be where our heart is when we're sacrificing, when we're donating our time, and just sacrificing by giving our abilities and the talents that God has blessed us with. Because remember, each and every one of you, because this is something we talk about a lot in first grade, each and every one of you has a specific talent or ability that God has given you. Some might have the same ability, right? You might be creative, you might be able to sing, you might be able to dance really well, but what we need to do as Christians is use our gifts, our talents, and our abilities for God, to glorify God. That was the really good gift that Stephen had. He used his talents, his abilities to glorify God with them. He didn't do things so that people could give him applause. He didn't do things so that people could say, wow, what a great guy Stephen is. That's not where his heart was. His heart was to do things to bring glory to God so that people could look towards God, so people could learn about God. His motive to do things was so God could be bigger and greater and people would come to know him. So I want to encourage you guys today to think of ways that you can sacrifice and use your talents and abilities to glorify God, to bring glory to God, not to yourself, because that's not really being humble, right? When we think of only ourselves, that's not being humble. That's being full of pride, prideful. We want to be humble and think of others first, think of God first. So, how can we use our gifts and talents to glorify God? Think about that, okay? All of you guys have wonderful things. Many talents I haven't even seen from you guys because I'm not with you all the time, but just in the classroom alone, I see your creativity, I see your intelligence. Remember, I've even told you guys, I know that there's future doctors in our classroom, teachers, probably the next president, the next person to go out into outer space, the next big chef, the next big YouTuber, right? Professional soccer players and baseball players. I see all of that when I look into our classroom and I see all your beautiful faces. Friends, you guys are full of so much natural ability and wonderful talents that God has given you. I'm blessed to know you. I am blessed to love you. And I know God has beautiful things in store for you, for your life, and what lies ahead for you. All right, friends. Stay cozy and comfy in your pajamas. I will probably change so you'll see me wearing something different in my next videos. But you stay in your comfy, cozy pajamas all day long and enjoy your day. I love you so much, and we'll see you soon for phonics and math. Bye.